Hello, we're about to start step 2 here. Step 2 is going to be the inner border of our coaster. And for the inner border, it's kind of hard to see when you do it all in one color. So like I said before, I'm going to do it in a different color so it's a bit easier to see. And yes, there is Kitty assistance in the background. So you have one of two ways of which that you can go about this. You can either tuck it in the way that we did when we started our first piece of yarn, or you could tuck it into the stitches you did before. But I'm going to do this one the way that we started off the original time, which is tucking it in behind. Okay? Just realized I started to pull through before I told you where to begin, so my bad. Okay, so we're going to start going forward like we did with our first piece of yarn. You can see here we have stitches that go through these particular holes. In order to fill it up with yarn, you have to make sure that you don't skip any pieces of canvas. So what I have to do, I actually have to start in 1, 2, 3, this third hole in from the side, from the left hand side. And where I'm going forwards, that means I'm going top bottom. So I'm going to bring my needle through there. Bring it through till I have just a little bit there in the back. So you can see it, but just a little bit. I'm going to hold it there to the back with my finger. So I brought it through towards me through the top hole of the stitch. I'm going to bring it through away from me in the bottom hole of the stitch. And see where I went there? It's the second hole in on the row underneath. Just remember, it's all forward slashes. Just like that. There. If I keep holding that bit of yarn, that's the end, to the back, I'm going to end up tucking it in to the stitches that I do. Top hole towards me, bottom hole away from me. Top hole towards me, bottom hole away from me. Okay, so I've done those 3 stitches so far, so you can see where it is that I'm going with this. And of course, the yarn that's on the back has now been thoroughly tucked in. So you see how I'm coming in through the top of the stitch, that there's already yarn in that hole from the previous border we did before. Away from me in the bottom hole. Gonna go all the way across. And same as with my previous video, I'm not going to have you watch me do the whole and entire thing. I'm just going to keep going forward. And whenever I have to switch, then I'll show you how to switch just to double check to make sure that you know where we're going. Okay, there we are to the end of that row. And what we're going to do now, where we're going to switch directions, I'm going to show you what to do. We're going to go down again. So in order to go down, that means we need to switch directions and we have to go bottom, top, bottom, top. So to switch now, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to come down to this empty hole that's there. See how this was the bottom of the previous stitch? It's one hole underneath that. It's the one empty one that's in this corner over here. All the rest of them have yarn in them. And these are going to start a row going down of bottom, top, bottom, top. Through the top there. Now the top one, of course, has yarn already through it. It's the stitch we've done there. Bottom, top. Same thing as before, because you've switched directions, there will be one straight line on the back, but that will get covered in once you begin doing your other stitches. Sophie looks like she's going to attack my yarn. Okay. Always, after a while, check the back to see that we have the diagonal lines that we're looking for. There's the one straight line that I said to expect as well. So I'm going to continue on to the end of the row, and show you how to get around the corner. All right, I have gone down to the bottom. You see my furry assistant has left. Sophie has decided it was too boring for her. So I've gone all the way down as far as I can go. Of course, it's one up from the bottom because there's already a white stitch there from the previous border. Thankfully, we also don't need to change direction of stitching. So you're not going to see any change in lines or in straight lines or anything like that. Because going across the bottom, we're going to continue with this bottom top method. So I'm going to go 3 stitches in, 3 holes in, 1, 2, 3 from that bottom corner. So it ends up being right here. This is where I come in to do my next stitch, to go across the bottom, bottom, top, bottom, top, bottom, top, all the way across the bottom to do that. So come around, and that's where the border is going next. All right, bam, finished that bottom line. So now we have to go up again to finish our inner border, and we have gone all the way over as far as we can go. Of course, now touching the white stitch that's in the outer border, we have to go up. The stitch procedure for going up is the same as going forwards. So that means we are going to now go through the top towards us, bottom away from us. So what we have to do, we have to go up 3 from the bottom. 1, 2, 3. This is the hole we're working with. This one right here. 1, 2, 3. So same as when we did this corner up here, we're going to the hole that is free of yarn. So top, bottom, like that. Now, of course, there will be one straight line there on the back, but that's expected. It will get covered in when we do our other stitches. Top, bottom, top, bottom. Your bottom stitches now are touching the white stitches of the outer border. Top, bottom, top, bottom. Voila. It's going to keep going on up now, and then we will be done the inner border and can move on to our squares. Voila. Finished that final row there, and it's gone all the way up to the top to meet the first yellow stitch that we did. So we completed that inner border there now. We have outer border and inner border, and we're ready for our squares. For me, where I'm changing colors, I'm going to tuck it in the back now and snip it off. But of course, if you weren't changing colors, you don't need to do this because you're just going to continue on where you left off, making the squares. And I will see you in the next video. Bye.